The products I use under my eyes instead of eye creams. People love to get in arguments on the internet, and people love to hate when I try to save consumers from the marketing of eye creams in the industry. Eye creams are not necessary, and when you actually turn and learn those ingredients, you'll notice that many of them have similar, if not identical, formulas to moisturizers. They're just put in a smaller tube, and therefore brands can jack up the price. Now, we have spoken ad nauseum about what the industry does to kind of pull the wool over our eyes and get us to spend money on eye creams when they're not necessary. But I've also shared some of the eye creams that if you had to pry the words out of my mouth, I would actually recommend for someone who needs them. Because yes, there are specific instances in which someone should use an eye cream. You can find the link to that video right there. But there are products that I use under my eyes that no, are not technically intended for the under eye area. But based on how they perform, I feel they actually do the same, if not more for me than an eye cream would. And I am coming to you today with no makeup, nothing in the eye area, so you can actually see where I'm at. I've done videos in the past testing different eye creams and speaking to plastic surgeons about the anatomy of the eye and why eye creams can be a scam for many people. And if you're like me and looking to slather something in your eye area that actually, gosh forbid, comes in a decently sized tube at a decently sized price, these are the things I use. And also, growth is a core value of mine, and I will admit I have made mistakes. There are some products that I have used in my eye area that did not work out, that I don't believe someone should use as an eye cream. So we're gonna talk about that because I don't want you to make the same mistake that I did. Let's start off nice and simple with a good old vegan ceramide cream. This one is from Pacifica, and I adore this. Pacifica Beauty has always been really eco-friendly. They donate to clean water causes. They're always vegan and cruelty-free, but this is their first line that is fragrance-free and that has ceramides. Now, as a part of this vegan ceramide fragrance-free formula, they actually launched not only this facial moisturizer, but they also launched a cleanser, and they launched an eye cream. And you know what? The eye cream is not bad. It's good. I would recommend it if you had to literally pry a recommendation out of my mouth, the way you would have to get a bag of treats out of my cat's mouth, because she is a chonk, but she is a smart chonk, and she knows where we hide the treats, and she will do anything to get her fangs into them. But the vegan eye cream is good, but I feel like this vegan ceramide moisturizer is better. This is a phenomenal formula for the entire face, and yes, for the eye area. This moisturizer is $16 for 1.7 fluid ounces, and guess how much the Pacifica eye cream costs? It also costs $16, but it's for 0.5 fluid ounces. Did you see what they did there? Because I see what they did there. This formula is super lightweight on skin. It has ceramides such as ceramide EOP, ceramide NP, ceramide AP. It's also got cholesterol, it's got marshmallow, it's got oats. All of these are super hydrating and nourishing to the skin. And then this has a ton of amino acids. And these are all ingredients that we normally see in eye creams. We see a ton of amino acids in eye creams. We see oat in a soothing eye cream. And this formula is just as great, if not better. Especially if you're price sensitive, you're getting a lot more for the price, and you can use this all over your face, and that includes the eye area. The other thing that I hate about eye creams is that eye creams claim that they will fix the eye area, but it's like, okay, what are you talking about? There can be wrinkles and fine lines, there can be puffiness and under eye bags, and then there can be color. But you don't have to have all three of those problems. And those three problems are treated very differently. Think about hyperpigmentation after a blemish. You would treat that very differently than wrinkles, right? Which is very different than if your face is puffy, which is probably indicative of anaphylaxis, in which case you should definitely find an EpiPen and go to the ER immediately. We don't want your throat closing up over here, okay? Okay. ABCs, babies. But a lot of brands launch eye creams not telling people what the eye cream actually does, and not preventing the reasons that eyes can have puffiness, discoloration, or wrinkles. And that's why my dear Dr. Dre got me hooked on doing this, and boy, I can't recommend it enough. This right here is the Supergoop Zinc Sunscreen. This is a 100% mineral formula. It's an SPF 40, and it is slightly tinted. And you know what this is? This is a phenomenal sunscreen that I would recommend you put all over your face, but it also doesn't sting the eye area. And yes, you can use it all around the top and lower eyelid and pretty much everywhere around the eyes. What's great about this formula is that it actually has ingredients such as physical/mineral sunscreens that are broad spectrum and prevent against the damaging UV rays. And those UV rays are what cause fine lines and wrinkles. It's what causes collagen degradation. For some people, those UV rays can actually cause veins in the skin to show up a a little bit more, or the skin to kind of degrade and get a little bit thinner. And actually applying sunscreen is going to help with that. So yes, you can do it in the eye area. Now that one thing that I told you about where I've made a mistake, there are certain products that I don't recommend putting around the eye area, and that includes sunscreens. Have you ever put a sunscreen in your eye, and do you know the pain that is associated with it? I swear to God, to quote Charlotte Palomino, if you put a sunscreen on and it happens to get in your eyes, you have to explain to everyone else on the Zoom meeting why it looks like you're having a mental breakdown, and that you swear to God it's not a Tuesday morning breakdown, that it is literally just sunscreen in your eyes. It is horrible. And usually things like chemical or organic sunscreens tend to do this more, which is why I love this as a physical/mineral blend. So do keep that in mind, because I have felt the pain. But if you can try to find formulas that don't sting your eyes or that are tear-free, that's going to be the best bet for you. And again, Dr. Dre loves this one, and I love Dr. Dre, so what she tells me, I will oblige with. And this is one that, oh my gosh, I've been doing this for over a year based on her recommendation, and I cannot go back. Now, speaking of, there's also this sunscreen that I do recommend. This is the Murad Oil Control SPF 15 PA+++++, and I actually love this for really oily eyelids. Now, this is one that if you get it in the eye, it can sting a little bit, so just be careful. Some days my eyes are more sensitive than others, and I don't know how your eyes are gonna react. Obviously, I'm not there with you, and I'm not shoving this in your eyes, thank goodness. That would be very unconsensual, I believe. Anyways, this is a fantastic formula, but I would only use it on the upper eyelid, and I would use it sparingly. And I would only use this for people who have really oily eyelids. Do you know that grease that just kind of like gets on your eyelids and it makes your eyeshadow get all creasy and just like oily eyelids? First off, that right there is anecdotal proof that no, eyelids don't not have pores the way that beauty publications that don't fact check themselves like to spew misinformation about on the internet. Eyelids very much have pores. They very much have oil glands. And as a matter of fact, that is where 90% of eyelid cancers start, mind you. But this one, as long as it doesn't get in the eyes and as long as you're not super sensitive and it doesn't burn, this mattifying one is really good. I wish it were higher than an SPF 15, but it does have mattifying ingredients, so it actually helps to cut some of the oil and cut some of the grease. Whereas this Supergoop one, I find this one to be a little bit more runny, a little bit more liquidy. Another product that I've used and loved is actually the Skincare by Hyram Niacinamide and Maracuja. This is supposed to be that daily barrier support moisturizer. I found this to be a little bit lighter, a little bit more like a serum, but I could use it, and I did use it all over my face, but I actually found that it worked really well underneath my eye area. On a day that I just wanted some lightweight dewiness or some moisture, this was a great option, and it sits under my sunscreen so it didn't pill up. It was really lightweight, whereas wasn't enough for my entire face, but under the eyes it was actually really good. And this does have niacinamide, it has cica, it has some of those ingredients that kind of help with hydration and calming and can help with a little bit of coloration, not the same way other tyrosinase inhibitors would, which are those ingredients that actually stop melanin and pigment from being produced and spread, which is what causes hyperpigmentation and sometimes pigmentation here in the eye area. But that was a use for this that I really, really loved. And this is 1.7 fluid ounces, so you're getting a lot more bang for your buck with this than you are with, you know, a random overpriced eye cream. Looking at you, Lemaire. No, wait, come back, I love you. My poor products. I've been pulling some Gigi Gorgeouses lately. I'm just chucking my products everywhere haphazardly. Now, this one, people also love to fight about. People love to throw hands at me for this. And I say, don't just listen to me, listen to the dermatologists. Now, this is going to scare some people. This is not for everyone. This tip is for the skintellectuals. This is not for the faint of heart, but we're talking full strength tretinoin and vaseline under the eye areas. Oh yes, you heard me correctly. Prescription strength retinoids and greasy, goopy petrolatum jelly in the eye area. This actually works really well, and this is probably the most budget-friendly and the most effective under eye treatment that you can get. Now, obviously, what happens if you put prescription strength things in your eyes? They're probably gonna burn, right? That's why you don't want to go into the conjunctiva. You don't want to shove this in your eyes. You do want to be careful. Also, petrolatum jelly, this Solimo jelly, the CVS brand vegan petrolatum jelly, these are very greasy. You know what Vaseline feels like. And for someone who has milia or for someone who just can't deal with really occlusive things by the eyes, this is not going to be for them. But if you are someone who considers yourself a skintellectual, and if you have a doctor or dermatologist that has prescribed this to you, you can ask them about this hack. Literally write it down, or if you have like a telederm, literally message them right now and be like, hey doctor, can I get approval to do this? Because this is one of the best hacks. You apply a little bit of petrolatum Petrolatum Jelly, a little bit of Vaseline around the eye area, and then you take a very small amount of prescription strength tretinoin cream. This one is specifically 0.05%, and you apply this on the eye area. And yes, this is phenomenal for hyperpigmentation, for wrinkles, and for fine lines. It is amazing and helps to plump up the skin here and completely refresh it. Now, the reason I say ask a derm is because you need a derm to prescribe this, but also don't just come to me. Talk to Dr. Idriss. Who here is obsessed with Dr. Idriss? If you don't know her, you need to, okay? Dr. Dre in one arm, Dr. Idriss in the other arm. I tell you, we simp in the best skincare way possible. Dr. Idriss, in her Harper's Bazaar Go to Bed With Me video, literally puts straight up Vaseline by her eye area and then takes and recommends tretinoin and puts it around her eye area, and it works phenomenally for her. She does use an eye cream in the winter, but she's spoken about this. She's a dermatologist who now has her own practice in New York City, and many other dermatologists recommend this as well. And I swear to God, if you are looking for something budget, and if you have fine lines and wrinkles, this is the least expensive and the most potent option you can get. The one thing I will say is that I'm currently using a prescription from Apostrophe. I've also got a prescription from Dermatica where I get tretinoin. Love both of those brands, but those brands combine additional ingredients into the formula. So my Apostrophe one has spironolactone for acne, and my Dermatica one has things like niacinamide and erythromycin, which is an antibiotic. So if you're getting a blended one, make sure that you like text your dermatologist or your provider on one of those apps and whoever's providing that product and service and ask whether or not you can put it in the eye area, just because you don't want to do something or put something on your eye area that could cause problems. And again, as with all retinoids, there's a period of retinization. If you've not used a full strength tretinoin on your face, it's not time to just slap it on your eyes. Again, this tip is for the skintellectuals, but does it work? Oh baby, it works. And all of these products work because you can put them on your face or by your eyes, and you don't have to spend extra money on these tiny little tubes of product that barely do anything anyways and have very sus marketing. But you can get a full-sized product that works all over, that saves you money and even a step inside of your skincare routine. Now, if you're that person who's gonna sit here and say, but Cassandra, I know I don't need them, but I feel like I want them, or I'm trying to give one as a gift, I just want a recommendation. Guess what? We've got a video on, yes, the people who should be using eye creams, because there are some people that should. We've also got a video on eye creams that I do actually recommend. And if you've made it this far in the video and you're just confused AF and you're like, wait, why don't we like eye creams? What exactly does the industry do? I need a deep dive. Whew, we've gone deep. Like the bottom of the Pacific Ocean deep. Mariana Trench deep, okay? Okay, make sure that that like button is hit, make sure that you stay hydrated both topically and orally, and always remember to be beautiful both inside and out, and don't get scammed by the lies that the industry tries to tell us and sell us on eye creams. I love you, beautiful butterflies, and I cannot wait to see you in this next video. Love you guys, bye.